Kind of want to make a stream for Commander Roshan on why I advise him to play a little bit of like slow Hoon with no boost, because I noticed a lot of there were a lot of like the right hand was kind of wobbly, and every wobble would require different sets of inputs from the left hand. So unless the right hand is totally orientating the ship with intent, adding the boost in there is just gonna dial everything up to 11, and it's just gonna be detrimental, because it would be harder for you to remember what you did because everything's faster, and harder for you to see your mistakes in order to learn from them. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's you know, we have commanders that learn with the boost first, you know, but eventually they will try some no boost and notice that they could do stuff better. It's just harder, and it's gonna take you longer and more expensive in the revise. So I'm gonna go to 8A and just show you what I do and show you what I see in your streams that I think you can improve on. And that's why I brought up the tethering exercise, by the way, because if you told me that you had it and it was, you know, satisfactory, then I think you weren't wobbling per se. You were rolling the ship and then remembering you didn't need to roll, and that's why that looked like a wobble. But if you took the tethering exercises, you know, tethering means relative, you know, stationary. So there's no pitch roll or yaw or forward and back or whatever from your viewport. So that's what we're trying to get during a straight flight path. For example, if you're trying to go straight somewhere, then you shouldn't be rolling or yawing or anything during that straight. segment until you arrive at a segment where you're preparing for a turn, and that's when you incrementally input your right hand to prep for the thrusters input. So depending if you need one set of thrusters, 2 or 3.
Welcome to the channel.
2 or 3 sets of thrusters, that would dictate how you would orientate the ship pre-turn. Right, and so far from your stream, I see a lot of hesitation or confusion, like, as if you started something, like you started a pre-turn maneuver, but then it got over, or maybe you was overcorrected, and then you're trying to correct it, right? But it's too late because you're already doing the pre-turn. So by the time you finish the correction, you touch the wall. Right? And couple that with boosting, you're just gonna end up in that spot much quicker, like touching the wall quicker, right? And that's not what we're after. So. So you see how but the dot is not moving? Like my ship is not as if it's FA on. That took me a long time. Like I think 2 months or something. I could never do this. Like it was always doing this. It was like, damn it. And then right? And then I go down and up. Oh, right. But now it's better. But before it was like yawling, and I'll be like, it won't, right? It won't. But after a while, you know, you try to do smaller and smaller inputs.
Welcome to the channel.
Right? And even now it's yawing a little bit to the right, but this is okay. This is so slow that it won't affect your thrusters input. Right? The main thing is it's thrusters input. Like when you change the orientation of your ship, all your thrusters do different things now when you change. Every time you change drastically the orientation of your ship, you know, whether it be roll, pitch, or yaw, it will change what the particular set of thrusters do. And before you're comfortable with that, you really shouldn't add the boost in there. You're just gonna have a hard time, you know, competing with the speed of the boost. Couple that with speed locking, you know, it's just, you're just paying money for no reason. That's all I'm saying. That's why, like, every rebuy, every time you pay 50k, you're supposed to walk away with knowledge. You're supposed to be something to teach you something. If you're just paying it without learning anything, then you basically wasted it. Yeah. This is not a good spot, by the way, but whatever. Like, that's where you were, but you wouldn't know until you fly a lot. But just go around the planet and find things that is like this Y. This Y is quite optimal, okay. And if you see stuff this wide, then it's a good place to drop. Okay. And for example, if I want to drop there, I want to make the degrees around 50. Now I'm 45. So what I would do is I would fly level a little bit, and then I would turn the throttle all the way to 0, and then I'll check it and go down, and it's 50. Okay, that's where I want to drop. So I'll keep the degree at 50 and just let go, and that will guarantee you not have a shallow glide or anything. So as long as it's not red, right? If it's in the red, it will tell you to pull out. So 50, 55, you know, it doesn't matter. But if you imagine there's a station there on the surface and you aim it at 50, 55, you're guaranteed to arrive at the station around 6k. And by doing that, you minimize the speed locking maneuver that you always do when coming down, right? Because you're already close to wherever you want to go, so you don't need to speed up all the way. You see I'm going 280. There's no reason for me to go 400 and be there 3 seconds earlier. Like, why? So I'm never speed locked by coming down. It's always safe. Okay, let's do non-boosted. I was about to do so non-boosted, right? You'll notice slower doesn't mean better. Like if I go really slow, like 50, you see how it's below the blue zone? For me it's yellow because I changed the HUD color. But you see how it's below the blue zone? So pitch, roll, and yaw, it's gonna be slower. This is gonna kill you. Like the optimal speed is actually in the blue zone, so whatever ship you are in. So for me it's around 160, 170. If I stay here, then the pitch, roll, and yaw is at the optimal rate, right? And it will be the most responsive. Like the ship would be really responsive. So slower doesn't mean better. Faster doesn't mean better either when you're doing no boost. Faster is just a way to challenge yourself. See how fast you can do it without dying, and then how accurate you are at the breaking point before the apex. Right? But for casual tuning, right, just no boost, close to the floor. Right? And you can just do this, okay? And by doing this, you learn a lot of stuff, right? You'll learn the shape of your ship. For example, these things, I know I'll touch my wing if I do this. Look. If I do this, I'll touch my wing. See? Right? And that's from a lot of practice, just from flying your ship to know how far the wing is without seeing them, and where your belly is without seeing them, and when it's gonna scrape. Right? So you see this V in front of me? I know that if I go all the way down there, it's gonna touch my wings. So this is like the lowest I could go. Right? So when I say go low, it doesn't mean go zero. It means go as low as you can without touching. Right? And you see how I barely roll my ship? I didn't really roll my ship at all. Right? And with the overlay, you can see my thrusters input. And there's no reason to roll because I know how big the ship is. Right? And a lot of commanders will come down here and they'll fly it like this. Because, right? They're treating it as a mail slot, right? For docking, they're thinking, oh, I need to fly it like this. Right? But you don't have to. If you know how big your ship is, by flying it a lot, basically by touching it a lot, so that you know, oh, that touch, so I need to go a little bit higher. Oh, that touch again, so I need to go a little bit higher. Right? Like I don't roll it. Well, I'm not telling you not to roll it. I'm just saying, at this speed, at 50, there's no need to roll it. I don't need I use the vert to go forward. You notice? I pitch down, and because the glass is on top, so I look up and see more, versus doing this. Right? So that now half of my 1/3 of my screen is unseeable, and it makes it more dangerous, right? Because you can't see where you're going. So what I do is I pitch down, and then I'll look up. So now my vert becomes a forward, right? And to go lower, I press forward. To go forward, I press up. Okay. And that's why I suggest you doing this, because it let you be more comfortable with no nose. So basically it let you just be more comfortable with forward, doesn't mean forward, and up doesn't mean up. It depends what your ship is orientated at the moment. And this is actually the same exercise as the Mox and Wolves navigating the asteroids. Now that you have head tracking, by looking somewhere else and navigating the asteroid, this is the same thing. Right? So when you fly through this, don't point at it. Point somewhere else. Like for example, I want to go there. So point somewhere else and still go there. Still go there. But this is technically the same as the Astro Shield exercise. I want to go there and then I want to turn right after the meat tenderizer. I gotta see more because now I'm scared. I don't know what's on the right. I want to stop here and I want to keep turning right. And I'm scared. Oh shit. I fucked up, right? So then I know, oh, I screwed up. Like what happened? Right? And then I think about it. Like, what happened? Because I was looking this way and I was backing up. So why is it going to the right so quickly? Right? And probably it's because I was going backwards. Because probably I was going backwards in a diagonal. And I just lost orientation. Right, but it's a great exercise of just not pointing where you're going, which is normal. And 90% of the time, you're not pointing where you want to go. Not because it looks cool, it's because you're prepping for the turn. You're prepping for the next turn, so you actually pre-turn, right? And that will make you point somewhere else than where you wanted to go. Right? So that's half of it. Like why you should practice just non-boosted. You see how slow I'm going? I'm not in the blue zone. Right? It's fine. Just keep doing it. See? Everything's intent. Like I saw a dead end and I wanna go somewhere else. Right? The other half is the right hand. If you look at the overlay on my joystick right now, you see the non-stop movement? It's not for fun. It's actually coupled with the thrusters input. And because I suck, right? I keep correcting the shit. Like for Sanderling, he wouldn't do this. He would just go there and his dot wouldn't move. Like his dot would point there and it won't move. And then he will do stuff, right? But for me, because I suck, I'm always correcting the shit. So when I fly through these things, my stick is always moving, right? But even though it's always moving, it's not wobbling. It's not doing this. Okay? Because when you do this, it changes everything. Like your thrusters input, it just went to shit. Right? So I have a lot of movement, but generally, if you look at the glass and the crosshair, it's not actually changing a lot. And in effect, what I'm actually doing right now is I'm tethering to things. I'm tethering to things constantly. If you look at the dot is trying to trace out a line that I want to go to, or orientate the ship in such a way that is predetermined before I even get there. I know how I want to get there and how I want to get away from there. Right? So that's why all this movement, right? And even with all these right hand movement, if you focus on the dot isn't erratic. It's actually going somewhere in a constant speed, right? Like I'm not drawing, like, see? I'm not, right? This is wobble. That's what I mean by wobbling. Like, you see the dot? Like you can't predict the dot. But if you're not wobbling, you could look at the dot and you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. So, oh, Ronnie's gonna make a left turn past this hill. Right? You could predict it. Well, oh, he's gonna do a right turn right now. Right? So calm down the right hand. And it's extremely important that you calm down the right hand for your left hand to make sense. But when you get to a point where you're doing non-boosted, like scuba diving, like what I'm doing right now, and you get to a point where it's actually boring to you, right? Then you speed it up to like 300 or whatever, right? And that would be insane. Like doing this at 300 is actually much harder than boosted. Because you need to look further. Just like driving on a highway, you need to look further and pre-plan your braking point, like when to brake to go into turn so you don't hit the far wall, right? So you just do it faster and faster and as fast as you can without touching. That's the key point. If you go super fast but you touch a lot, you're not flying, you're crashing. Just go as fast as you can. Like now I'm not even reading the speedometer, you notice? It doesn't matter. The speedometer doesn't help me. I'm looking outside and judging from the pixels, telling me how fast I'm actually moving. How fast I'm exactly moving doesn't matter. It's a relative, right? It's how fast I'm moving and how fast could I brake. Bicording, right? I'm pitched down, so when I want to brake, I'll actually press back and down like this, and it'll stop. So I'm just looking outside the whole time. There are no numbers. You don't look at the numbers. Just look outside. And just keep doing it. Right? Until it's really boring. Like you go really fast, you're not touching anything. You're just a master at non-boosted. Like I'm not telling you to stop boosting totally. I'm just saying like after your boost sessions and you notice you're crashing a lot, you're not learning anything, you're always in super cruise, you're not coming back. You know, give this a try, because this will really hone your skill, like the hands working together. And boosting really depends on this, because boosting makes everything faster and quicker. Your fingers needs to be much quicker, and the stick needs to be much quicker and gentler even sometimes. So during the boost, you're actually putting this non-boosted skill to the test. How fast you can react, really, when boosting. So here I want to boost here, and it doesn't matter that I'm facing funny, right? There's no shit. Like I'm in a box with 6 faces of thrusters, and you're supposed to be comfortable no matter where the ship is facing. So I want to do this turn non-boosted, right? So there's a right turn coming up, non-boosted. Right? Then I need to prepare myself, right? If I smack it at 400, I know I won't make it. For me anyway, right? Some other people maybe. So I'm going to take this at around 200 and the boosting like this, and then I'll do a right turn right here, non-boosting. I'm not low, I'm just, right? It's fine. And then I'll do this non-boosted, and I want to do the left turn a little bit closer to the floor, past this thing, non-boosted. And because I'm faster, you notice how I pitch and roll my shit in such a way that I'll use all 3 sets, compared to 15 minutes ago when I was flat, just forward on the floor. And now I actually need to roll because I need to use more thrusters to stop myself from hitting the far wall, and I also pitch down so that I can use all 3, like these three for a right turn, these 3 for a left turn. And if my ship is level and I press those 3, it doesn't do what I want to do. It's just gonna go up, forward and up. Or what does it do? I don't know. Yeah, forward and up. So by knowing that if my ship is level and when I press these 3, it's gonna go forward and up, I would pitch my ship in such a way and roll in such a way so that now my forward and up becomes the turn, right? So that's tricording, right? And that's some non-boosted thing you need to learn, because when you're boosting, right, it will come to play. It's even more important boosting. Like boost it and then you just press one set of thrusters, but it won't be enough. The boosting activates your main thrusters. They go crazy. So even without learning trichord, you already activate a chord by itself, the main thrusters, right? So when you're boosting, the main thrusters are activated no matter whether you want them to or not. So without learning bichording and trichording, you're basically ignoring the gas pedal in a car. It doesn't work. So you have to be super aware. Like when you're boosting, you're just aware that somebody is pressing the forward for you. Right? So you try to navigate that. And here I gotta look. You see how aggressive I need to yaw? If I don't do that, I'm gonna smack on the left. Right? So without a reliable right hand orientating your ship in such a way, right, to activate the thrusters, it just makes no sense. Because if I wobble a tiny bit and try to avoid that wall, I was smacking the inside wall instead of the outside wall, right? So the right hand needs to be on point the whole time. A tiny mistake on the right hand would kill you. That's why it's so fun. Everything kills you. Right, and here I do a right roll, right? It's not for style, it's because I know it might not clear the wing. Right, so like this, I would roll it to clear. So, you know, I could clear it by thrusting right, or I could clear it by doing that, just treating that thing as a floor. And so there are a lot of things.
Tugi 1206, welcome to the channel.
So a lot of things like this, right? So you fly enough that you know the shape of your ship. Right? And you don't do a thing, you don't repeat a maneuver all the time, even though you see the same landscape, right? Depending on what you're going to do next. So for me, I do a lot of...
I'm just creeping on you.
Hey man, who's this? It's Tugi. Well, we have a new commander called Rashan joining. And he's a daredevil. He came boosted before doing non-boosted. It's okay, because that's what Jarek did. And he's like super pro nowadays. But I was just trying to tell him to don't take it for granted. Like even though you like boosted, like don't take non-boosted Hunin for granted, because it fine-tunes the hands. So that's why I'm doing this for him. And it's quite hard to learn from Beers and Sanderling and Saf, and right, because they're so good. Like, why would they do this? I just can't imagine. This will put Sandering to sleep. Right. But it's fun for me. I like doing this. By the way, Roshan, that's why I told you to turn on the headlights, right? Because it tells me something. When I see the headlights and you see it enough, it tells you where the nose is. It tells you how low and how tight you can take some turns. You just gotta be aware. You just gotta look at the light and oh my god, see, right? I saw the light there and I knew it was gonna touch my belly. So what I did was I brake and then I pressed up. I don't think about these, by the way. I just do it. But now I could be aware if I want to. So again, these V's, there's no reason to do this. You don't have to. You can just do this. But if I go lower, it's gonna touch, right? The V is just too tight for the... And then I gotta be more careful and go slower. But you don't have to go super low, it's just lower than the walls, it's fine. You notice how weird I'm doing, like I'm flying right now? Like I'm pitched down, and I'm just looking up. And you don't see my caps, you don't see my speedometer, you don't see my shields. It doesn't matter. And when I do this, it fits better in the V's, by the way. So try this again. Next time just do this for like 15 minutes and then go back up and boost or whatever you want, but it's quite valuable. Give it a try and you notice it's not as easy as it looks. It's actually a lot of communication between your hands and your head. Notice how sucky I am, like my right hand is constantly correcting, see that? I'm just not confident about my aim, so I'm always the right hand species AF. Right. And if Saf does this, Sanderling does this, Jarek or Beers, and if they are doing this, they wouldn't be doing what I do with the right hand, I'm pretty sure. Right. But even, right, see, don't know how to explain it, you really gotta do it to have a feel for when I'm braking with the up there, see? I was braking with the up, that's why I rolled. And the left hand also insane amount of inputs and correction, because to me this is just like Coriolis trenches. When you go inside the station's edges, right, when I go low, I'm actually navigating a specific line and I try not to go higher than what is acceptable to me. So to me, it's actually a tunnel that I'm flying through. I'm not flying through valleys. I see a tunnel in front of me. I want to go through it. If I don't constrain myself to the tunnel, the left hand doesn't need all the shit that I'm pressing right now. I could just relax, just look. Right? The shit will still, right, do the turn. And then when I do this turn, I can just, right, let go, it's done. Right? But I don't want to. I want to be accurate. I want to go exactly where I want the ship to go. So I'm constantly doing something. Like, it's not, you don't have to, but I want to go exactly, like, there's a path that I want, and I want it, and I'm sad if I can't stay on that path. Fucking psycho. But yeah, give it a try, man. It's good. When you boost, right, everything becomes just a faster version of what I did the past half hour. Oh my god. This part, by the way, I previewed it. I saw it when I was there. So I knew I was going to do this like 6 seconds before I did it. And that's the advantage of TZ compared to Aculus. Aculus don't let me do that. Don't let me see. But TZ I could see really far, so I kind of really relaxing. But this planet kills you. Right? This planet is fucking crazy. More caps. Sad. Whoops. What happened? What did I do today? Don't know what I did. It's the voice attack kicking in. Now I've been here, remember? I did this a little earlier, I remember this exact turn. But I went left that time, and now I go right and see what's up. And here I could go faster because there's nothing in front of me, so I just let go and 600. Then I want to go into that gap. This thing's blocking me, so I need another boost. All these thoughts coming past my head when you boost it. There's all this. I want to get out of there. I'm gonna go left and see what's up. Probably nothing. Oh, there's something great. Then I want to go lower because there's nothing in front of me. It's quite safe. And then we'll go left in here. And oh, scary, I want to go left again, past the gap, so I boost again. I want to go right. So y'all getting used to boost, to accelerate it, y'all. And then there's no gaps in here, so I want to double back and see my own trail is cool. Go down, I want to do a right in there. So figure out the boost timing, there's a little pause between pressing the boost and having the boost kick in. Do a left and then a little lower. Double back, no gaps. Keep going. Go into this gap, do a left. And I need to roll my ship because it was quite like a 2 left on rally. So I know if I don't do that, I'm just gonna hit the wall. So here, just follow that thing. Wait for the boost timing, press it. Wait for it to kick in. Scoop it because I'm scared. Do a right. Ooh, this is challenging. Look at that. It's like a 1 right. So prepare. That's it. Oh, you all right? Yeah, that's great. I love that. Right, another 2 left. I was bricking. Yeah, bricking. Because I'm scared. Right? This guy, go lower. Go left. Ooh. Giant wall. I'm gonna hit it. So go right, I think. Oh, there's a tiny gap there on the left. Can I make it? Oh, please, 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 yes. So I needed to boost there to stop me from smacking that wall. And I didn't care what happened after yet. Just want to evade the death in front of me. Is that a gap? It is. Yes. You see how I'm no longer level going past the V because I need to use them all. Oh, this spot is nice, man. I love this spot. Very cool. I thought it was a bad spot, but it was pretty cool. Go left. So that timing is important. Like when to press, when to go right. Oops, is that a gap? No, it's not a gap. So go through that and pretend it's intentional when it's not. You know, to look cool. And some people would do a barrel roll or anything, right? To make it cool. And then the terrain just turns to shit right now. Giant blocks. Not much gaps. And you can do some cool stuff with this. You could just get circles. Boost it. So before you learn boost it, just do non-boost it. Go around this thing. Go around this thing non-boost it. And you'll see that it's actually quite hard because you drift away quite a lot. Try to stay with it. And then just try to... Right, and that's why you turn on your headlight and just look at the luminosity of the headlight. And you can kind of gauge by how far you are from the rock, by how bright your headlights are and how, right? Not on this side, but the other side. And then you try to do it the other way, right? Like clockwise. And then you try to do it boosted. That's weird to me. I still haven't mastered it, but it's kind of like I could try it. But what's it here? Probably. Not sure. I'm trying to go level so that your trail looks good. I'm just painting. It's not looking good now. I just want to follow the trail so that I see more trail. See your own trail. It's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can do. So I pre-turned there a lot, preparing for that, because I know I'm really low and I don't know what's coming up. So this is a Super Bowl everywhere, so I just pull back. I don't like it. Bail out. And now I'm using the left as an up to get away from the floor. I think that's enough. I would have tried it. Non-boosted, just as fun. Alright.
GG guys, laughing smiley.